Hi, I'm Brianna the Stinky Frog, and welcome back to my channel. So for anyone who tuned in for my last video, my pre-Devlog, I talked about the new game I'm starting to work on called Bittersweet Music, which is going to be a story-driven puzzle point-and-click game. And so for the past 2-ish weeks, I've been working on it, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I mostly got music done, and I did not do anything I had planned to do originally because I make lists and don't follow them. So let's get started. So here's what I had planned to do from the last video. So I had originally planned to do at least one finalized piece of artwork that didn't get done at all, but I did get myself a new drawing tablet that currently doesn't work right now anyway, so hopefully this month I'll get some artwork done. But yeah, I wanted to get at least one piece of artwork done, didn't get any of it done. And then two, I wanted to make a dialogue system, and I kind of made a dialogue system. I mean, there is it. Yeah, it's kind of there. You'll see it. I'll show it at some point. I guess I could show it now. All right, so here's the dialogue system that I currently have. I watched a couple of videos on different ways to do dialogue systems, and as of right now, I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I'd want to do that. I also kind of played around with some ideas of like the sizing that I want. I'm thinking that I obviously need a name and a dialogue box. I think I'm also going to go ahead and throw in a portrait on the side just to make it a little bit more to look at when you're reading it. So that's what I've been working on. Right now, I have a few lines of dialogue, but they all just play right after one another. And what's going to happen is for the introductory level, anyway, you'll click on certain elements and certain things will happen. So, like, let's say you click on the window, a certain line of dialogue will pop up. I don't know exactly what it is. I'll throw it up on screen somewhere. But yeah, so I kind of did the dialogue system, but I didn't quite finish it like how I wanted to. But I at least have something to go off of now, which is fine. And lastly, the thing I wanted to get done was start a save system. I didn't even touch that. I didn't even try. I didn't look at it at all. But instead, I did get hyper fixated in the last like 3 days, not today, but like 3 days ago, hyper fixated on music and making music. And since the game is called Bittersweet Music, I think that's time well spent. So, yeah, now I'm going to get into the music I made. So, I am by no means a composer. I am an artist first, a storyteller second, but I was a band nerd in high school. I was first chair wind ensemble, but I was a percussionist. So, a lot of the pieces of music that I tend to make for games when I do make them for myself have a lot of percussion instruments in them because that's my safe space. So you will see a lot of if you are a band person or a music person, you'll see a lot of percussion instruments. I throw them in everywhere I can. I'm really bad about not including brass instruments. I don't know why. It's just this weird fear of I'm not going to be able to make it sound good. But anyway, I use the free tool MuseScore to actually write score for my music, and that's how I make the music. So I made a title music, got that out. I might change it. I like parts of it. And what was interesting about the title music is that I had found this other piece of, I found this other thing online. So I was able to find a website that you type in something, and then whatever you type in, it will convert it to music. So for anyone who doesn't know, in music, you have notes A to G. So for the alphabet, A to G, you can translate those directly into notes, but for everything past the letter G, it doesn't have a direct translation, but people can make it. So I used this website, found some things, because I have a puzzle that I'm going to do for the game where you have to play the piano keys and you have to type out the name Eugene, and something happens, and yeah. But anyway, so I've got that, and I typed out the words Bittersweet Music by Brianna, and I actually put the notes that it gave me and the rhythm that it gave me into the title music. And then I also typed out some other other things. So like from the last video, I talked about how Ricky shot and killed his best friend Eugene, and it was kind of an accident. He didn't mean to do it. So in it, another part of the rhythm will pop up, and it was translated from that same website, and it says, I didn't do it because Ricky's in denial. And then immediately after, it says Ricky Y, and then Ricky Y again, except I lowered the octave. So that was fun. I really like that, but I'm not a huge fan of the end of the title music, so I might make it not title music or change the ending. I don't know. Then after that, I made a piece called Mom's Lullaby, which is just piano. And in the game, you'll be able to pick up pieces of sheet music, and however many you pick up, and like when you interact with them in certain ways, you can put them on the piano, is my plan. When you put certain pieces on the piano, it'll trigger certain parts of the dialogue. And when you get this sheet music, it's called Mom's Lullaby, it'll trigger a dialogue scene with Danny, the younger brother of Eugene, who's the ghost in the game, for anyone who doesn't know. It'll trigger a cutscene or some lines of dialogue and stuff where Danny talks about after he lost his brother, he stopped listening to music, and he heard, like, you put Mom's Lullaby on the piano, so Eugene played the lullaby when Danny was nearby, and Danny was like, where did you get that piece of music? Because it's like a very specific lullaby that only his mom made it. So I made Mom's Lullaby. Then after that, I jumped to Untitled Outdoor Music, so I was like, I don't know what to call this. This is probably my favorite piece I've composed so far. I really like this one. I think it's really fun. I think it's pretty. Um, yeah, hopefully you like it. I'll just have a section in this video where I just play all of the pieces without me talking. So that way, if you are a music person or interested, please listen to them and give me feedback. If it's bad feedback, feedback is feedback. Like, give me those critiques, please. I need them. Anyway, Untitled Outdoor Music was the second one I made. That one took me a minute, but like I said, I'm really proud of it. Then I worked on another just piano piece for the sheet music called it was Goodbye Forever, and then I changed it to Goodbye for Now. And in the story, when you find this piece of sheet music and have it on the piano, you enter the dream state and meet up with Eugene that night in a dream. And he talks about how he lost both of his parents. So that sheet music was what Eugene had written after his mom died. So that's what that one is. And that one took some work to get, because at first it sounded really, really bad. There was just like there was a single measure that was just like, something is not clicking, it's just halting. But anyway, I think it sounds pretty good now. I'm pretty proud. Like I said, I'm not a pianist. I was a percussionist in school, and it's been like 6 or 7 years or something like that since I've played in band. So yeah, anyway. And while I was making all of these, we have a piano in our house, and so I get bored and just do laps around the kitchen because I don't want to do anything else. So I'm like, oh, I'll just get some steps in for the day. But every time I walked past the piano, I would go up to it, play random things on the piano, record myself playing it upside down, just hitting random notes. And that's actually how I made several of the rhythms, and that's how I kind of figured out what key signatures to use for several of the pieces as well, because I was just playing random stuff on our piano at the house. Anyway, then I went to the Dreams music. This one I like, but I'm not sure if I'm done with it yet, but I do think it sounds pretty nice. This is what'll play every time you go into the dream sequence. And then I started 2 other pieces that one is just called Love Story right now, and it'll be a sheet music that Eugene wrote that you can find. And the other one is called He Knows We Know, because it sounded spooky when I was making it. I was like, ooh, I know what to do with this. So in the game, I plan on having 3 separate endings, because in narrative games, one of the most important things I learned from one of my classes is that if you're making a game, why is it a game? Why is it not a movie? Why is it not a book? And because I originally planned on making this story a book, I'm like, I need to give it a reason to be a game. So there's going to be 3 endings. Depending on what you do in the game, it'll give you 3 outcomes. And in 2 of those endings, Ricky finds out that the main character, you, and Danny, Eugene's younger brother, he found out that he knows that you now know that he killed Eugene, and Ricky's like, oh no, what do I do? So that'll play, but it is not done, and neither is the love story. I just kind of threw them together with what I have so far, and I'm like, And then my kind of excitement and hyperfixation on making sheet music and music kind of died, but I'll take it. I pumped out about 6 pieces of music, and I'm pretty proud. So yeah, I guess now I'll insert all of these pieces of music for you to just listen to as you'd like. And if not, you can skip to this time right here for other stuff I did. So finally, for these two-ish weeks, I did lots of research on puzzles and how they work, and I actually found this really nice short little article about puzzles and how they make puzzles. And I learned about these things called puzzle dependency charts. And I was like, ooh, this is really nice. So I ended up making 3 puzzle dependency charts so far. I'm working on a 4th, but I kind of jumped ship from puzzle dependency charts to music. So then I stopped making the charts, but I think it's fine. I'll get back to them when I have more. But I got the introduction puzzle done. So in the introduction puzzle, um, you start the new home, you're there, and this is actually what I'm going to work on pretty much all for this upcoming month of March. I want to really try and make sure I have a solid thing down. I want to try and get at least the front porch done because I have a couple of art assets I need to make, and I'm hopefully going to get some character concepts done, but I'm not focusing too much on that right now. I want to get the kind of gameplay down so I can have people testing the game and making sure that the way I'm doing things uh, isn't annoying or frustrating, and the puzzle seems to be flowing well. So anyway, so the introductory puzzle, the player arrives at the new home, and you can do a couple of different things. And then eventually you are like, oh, the front door is locked. And so you need to get a key to get inside the house. So that is what you're working on. And you can see the puzzle on the screen. I won't talk about it. Pause it if you want to read all of my notes. That was the first puzzle I made. Then I worked on Mom's Lullaby puzzle. So this like correlates to needing that website to change names into music, into like music that you can play on the piano, and it also relates to the Mom's Lullaby sheet music that I created. So this is how you get that piece of sheet music. So again, pause it if you want to read through it all. And lastly, I worked on a plant watering puzzle, and so this is how you actually gain access to the shed, which will be important. It'll have a lot of secrets and stuff in there that you can find later, and it just kind of gets you used to moving around the house some more. So those were the 3 puzzles I worked on, and finally, I got an app called Obsidian because I saw some other people using it, and I was like, oh, let me try it. And I think it's pretty good. I like that it's dark and not bright and blinding light. That is beside the point. But I went ahead and made a bunch of introduction dialogue, so that way I can make sure my dialogue system's working and everything. So I've got just basic dialogue that happens as soon as you get there, and then different dialogue that'll trigger depending on what part of the world the player will interact with. So yeah, that is everything I worked on for these two-ish weeks that I've had since I posted my pre-devlog devlog. And again, if you are a composer or a musician or just like music or just want to help me with feedback, please listen to those pieces of music and give me feedback on them, good and bad. I need the critiques. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in. I will see you in a month with hopefully a lot more feedback and, well, not feedback, but hopefully with a lot more stuff for the game, and there'll actually be more gameplay happening on the screen instead of just random pieces of things I did. All right, well, bye.